Okay, so hopefully everybody signed on to Menti and to the stress management. And as Michelle had said, my name is Cindy Lau Chan, and I am a counselor at Newnham campus. And we're going to talk about stress management today. So when you think of stress, what words come to mind? And here, this is where you can type it up on your phone, and it'll show up in a nice little word cloud on my screen. So when you think of stress, what words come to mind? Okay. So you've got exhaustion, frustration, panic, anxious. Yeah, those are all really good words when it comes to stress, right? We think of it in a negative way. Oh, we got some more. Oh, deadline, inability to focus, back pain, pressure, panic. Totally, right? Sometimes people carry, right, all of their stress in your back and your neck, and you get all like, tight and everything like that. So that makes it really difficult. Okay, so I'm going to go to the next slide, if it will let me. There we go. Okay, stress is actually, it's a normal response to situational pressures or demands. So, we think of stress in a very negative way, but it's actually a very normal response to situational pressures or demands. Can you just give me 2 seconds, please?
Sure.
I just need to.
I'm sure this is very stressful for everyone.
Very sorry about that. Speaking of stress, I had, elephants playing hockey outside of my office, and that's all I could hear.
And yet another reason why I'm outside.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so it's actually a normal response to situational pressures or demands. We always think of it as something crazy, right? It's actually a part of everyday life. And it's only when chronic stress leads to mental health problems. So actually having stress in your life is a good thing. And I will get to why it can be a good thing, but it is a normal way for us to respond to things in everyday life, okay? How stressed do you feel now? So do you strongly agree or disagree with the following 3 statements? My schoolwork is the biggest stress. My personal life is the biggest stress. I can't seem to balance everything in my life. Okay, so looks like schoolwork and personal life and, the balance. Okay, good. Got some there, yeah. So it looks like schoolwork is the biggest stress. I know we're coming up on some midterms, so that can be a little nerve-wracking. And sometimes people have financial issues or things that are going on in their personal life that is a stress. It's all about trying to find the balance and how to use your stress appropriately. So how can we reduce some of your stress? Okay. How do you manage your stress? Everybody manages their stresses differently. So what are some ways that you manage your stress? There's not one single formula. It always depends on what works for you, what are your interests, what helps you, how do you kind of get calm, right? Go for walks. Yeah. Scheduling in a planner. That's great. Eat. Yeah, some people manage their stress by eating. Meditation. Yeah, people vary, right? Different ways. So I personally, I crochet. So I do a lot of crocheting, and that helps me manage my stress because it's something monotonous. It's something that I can achieve. It's something that I find relaxing. So what works for me might be actually stressful for something. Yeah, napping. Napping can be a great way to manage stress as well. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Um, so some rules on how to avoid stress was, one is concentrate on one task at a time. When you have too many things going on for you, it becomes overwhelming, and then your mind can't seem to focus on which one should I attack first, right? Which one should I do? It just becomes like, everything's coming at me at once. Have a supply of time. So make a to-do list, stay organized, get enough sleep. Can't stress the importance of sleep, a balanced diet, and give time to hobbies. So I'll kind of go through these ones a little bit more in depth. So I don't know if you guys know this, but Seneca offers this assignment calendar for every one of you. So, it kind of breaks down how many days or when you should actually be doing your assignment. So if you see the link, it's on the bottom, libraryresources.senecacollege.ca/assignment calendar. You can actually get through it through the Learning Center as well. But you put in the date you begin your assignment, when the assignment is due, and the type of assignment it is, and you click on calculate assignment schedule, and it'll break down for you the dates before and how many days before you should be doing what in order to prepare to turn in that assignment. So this is available to all Seneca students, which is a great tool to use to kind of keep yourself organized. Okay. Another thing is something called Trello. This is a free app that's not Seneca related, but it's called Trello. It provides you with a way to create boards, lists, and cards to kind of enhance how you organize and prioritize tasks, including assignments, tests, and exams. So it's just another way of kind of helping you stay organized and figure out what's due, what's when, and what you've already done, what's coming up. So it's a good kind of calendar way of keeping track of these things. And we've got this time management calculator. Where does my time go? This is through the Ferris State University. Like, how many times do you guys find yourselves going like, oh, I don't have time for that. Oh, I'm too busy for that. No, I can't just squeeze that in. But if you actually use this, there's a whole bunch of boxes where you actually get to type in how much time you spend grooming, how much time do you spend eating, how much time do you spend prepping your food. It actually breaks down for you and shows you where you actually spend your most time and where you can take your time and kind of rejig it and take time away to do something else that you find is more important. So if you're constantly saying, no, I don't have time to exercise, I don't have time to exercise, but you need exercise to reduce your stress, well, you might want to look at where is your time actually going. Because sometimes when you see it in front of you, you actually have more time than you actually thought you did. So, we were talking about like tackling the problem and how to avoid stress, right? So if you stay organized, you use these task calendars, you use these, I don't know, like even your agenda, Trello, assignment calculator, you're trying to avoid the stress because you're actually tackling the problem head on. The more you avoid something, the bigger the task seems. And the curve actually goes up and up and up exponentially. So each time you avoid something, the stress and the fear and the task becomes bigger. Okay, so remember that the next time you try to avoid something because you think it's going to actually be worse than it really is. So then we also have exercise, eat well, hobbies, meditation and relaxation. Vacation is not really happening right now because of COVID, but and sleeping well. Okay, so here's how does exercise or physical activity reduce your stress? Right? So this is where we get out the phones on Mentimeter. We could say, does it produce endorphins, like feel-good chemicals in the brain? It improves your ability to sleep. It can be fun and keep you alive, active, and healthy. Oops. Or all of the above. So everybody that's answered got it right, right? So exercise or any physical activity does all of these things, right? I always call it the free happy drug that you can get that's in your brain. Anytime you do any physical activity or exercise, and we're not saying you have to go to a gym, we're saying like do something physical that gets your heart rate up for over 20 minutes, right? It produces endorphins and it makes your brain and your body feel good. It produces those chemicals. It helps you sleep better. It can be fun and keep you active and healthy, which then reduces your stress. Okay, so if you're looking for things that you can do in terms of exercise, we have this online Zoom exercise program now that Seneca Sting has been putting on every single day at 12:40. They have different exercise classes. And I think Michelle was saying that you can just go to senecasting.ca recreation, and then you can join and see their exercise schedule every day.
Yep, and we're actually also reposting a lot of the classes on Instagram. So lots of different ways to access them. If you can do them live, if you want to do them live, you come here to the Zoom links. And if you want to do them afterwards, you can come here often to find a recap video or find them on Instagram. Lots of different ways.
Perfect. That's great. This COVID has actually made things easier for people to be able to access, these exercise classes. And so we talked about sleep. Sleep is really important. How does sleep reduce your stress? Um, does it improve your concentration, regulates mood, and sharpens judgment, calms the body and restores the mind, or all of the above? Perfect. Yeah, it is all of the above. Because this is what I say, if your body and your mind can refresh and regenerate and do what it's supposed to do when you sleep, 8 hours of sleep, your capacity to manage stress also increases. So when you're lacking sleep, you're lacking a good diet, you're like lethargic, you're just not feeling great, your capacity to manage the stresses that come at you for everyday life diminishes. You're not able to do what you would normally do. You would feel way more stressed out than if you actually got sleep. So if you're one of those students that says like, no, I'm going to pull an all-nighter, I'm going to stay up, I'm going to, like, I need to study. Your brain's actually not working that optimally. So your brain's actually working at like less capacity. You're actually stressing your body out more. And to be able to spit out the answers the next day is actually, I'm losing my words. You actually can't do it as well as if you just took the time and got 6 hours of sleep and then you actually got up and studied again. So sleep is actually very important. So when I hear students tell me, no, I can't sleep, I need to stay up and study, I'd be like, no, that's actually making you do worse on your test. What are some hobbies you want to try or are currently using to manage stress? So like I said, I crochet. That's one of my hobbies that I use to manage my stress. Okay, yoga, meditation, great. Play instruments, yeah, that would be fun. Okay, watercolor painting, yes, there's something very therapeutic about just watercolor painting or even coloring, right? Coloring with crayons, you would think, oh, I'm not a kid anymore, I don't want to color with crayons. It's actually a really great activity because it's very monotonous. You kind of just get into the coloring of it, and it brings you back to a place of more simplicity. Rollerblading. That's your exercise and your hobby at the same time, right? That's great. All right. So I, found a little fun infographic here of some fun free hobbies where you can balance having fun with saving money. So we've got like writing, walking, hiking, reading, exercise, learn a language, volunteer, singing, juggling, origami, drawing, puzzles, astronomy, explore your community, meditation, and rock collecting. Right? Find what works for you. That's what I always say. If you want to try something new, go try something new. And then how to make stress your friend. So I was talking about, how we think of stress in a negative way. We can actually think of stress in a positive way. And Kelly McGonigal did a really cool TED Talk. It's only about 14 minutes, but I just got little clips for you where she talks about the science of stress and why it could be your friend if we thought of it as a friend. So I'm going to show you a clip here. It's a quick 2-minute clip, but what she talks about is that there is a study that they did where you go into an exam and they tell you beforehand that it's a math test. And then when you go in, they are going to just yell at you and be really negative on you and criticize you. So that's what she's talking about when she says like this study, okay? I'm gonna play this here.
Okay, so you get the idea. Now, if you were actually in this study, you'd probably be a little stressed out. Your heart might be pounding, you might be breathing faster, maybe breaking out into a sweat. And normally we interpret these physical changes as anxiety or signs that we aren't coping very well with the pressure. But what if you viewed them instead as signs that your body was energized, was preparing you to meet this challenge? Now, that is exactly what participants were told in a study conducted at Harvard University. Before they went through the social stress test, they were taught to rethink their stress response as helpful. That pounding heart is preparing you for action. If you're breathing faster, it's no problem. It's getting more oxygen to your brain. And participants who learned to view the stress response as helpful for their performance, well, they were less stressed out, less anxious, more confident. But the most fascinating finding to me was how their physical stress response changed. Now, in a typical stress response, your heart rate goes up and your blood vessels constrict like this. And this is one of the reasons that chronic stress is sometimes associated with cardiovascular disease. It's not really healthy to be in this state all the time. But in the study, when participants viewed their stress response as helpful, their blood vessels stayed relaxed like this. Their heart was still pounding, but this is a much healthier cardiovascular profile. It actually looks a lot like what happens in moments of joy and courage. Over a lifetime of stressful experiences, this one biological change could be the difference between a stress-induced heart attack at age 50 and living well into your 90s. And this is really what the new science of stress reveals, that how you think about stress matters. So my goal as a health psychologist has changed. I no longer want to get rid of your stress. I want to make you better at stress. And we just did a little intervention.
I like that, how she says we want to make you better at stress, right? Okay, and then I have another clip here.
So we are going to do one more intervention. I want to tell you about one of the most underappreciated aspects of the stress response. And the idea is this: stress makes you social. To understand this side of stress, we need to talk about a hormone, oxytocin. And I know oxytocin has already gotten as much hype as a hormone can get. It even has its own cute nickname, the cuddle hormone, because it's released when you hug someone. But this is a very small part of what oxytocin is involved in. But here's what most people don't understand about oxytocin. it's a stress hormone. Your pituitary gland pumps this stuff out as part of the stress response. It's as much a part of your stress response as the adrenaline that makes your heart pound. And when oxytocin is released in the stress response, it is motivating you to seek support. Your biological stress response is nudging you to tell someone how you feel instead of bottling it up. Your stress response wants to make sure you notice when someone else in your life is struggling so that you can support each other. When life is difficult, your stress response wants you to be surrounded by people who care about you. Okay, so how is knowing this side of stress going to make you healthier? Well, oxytocin doesn't only act on your brain, it also acts on your body. And one of its main roles in your body is to protect your cardiovascular system from the effects of stress. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. It also helps your blood vessels stay relaxed during stress. But my favorite effect on the body is actually on the heart. Your heart has receptors for this hormone. And oxytocin helps heart cells regenerate and heal from any stress-induced damage. This stress hormone strengthens your heart. And the cool thing is that all of these physical benefits of oxytocin are enhanced by social contact and social support. So when you reach out to others under stress, either to seek support or to help someone else, you release more of this hormone, your stress response becomes healthier, and you actually recover faster from stress. I find this amazing.
Okay, so that's a totally different way of looking at things in terms of stress. But I really like her TED Talk. If you guys want to actually go look it up, it's actually on YouTube. It's 14 minutes long. Just type in "How to Make Stress Your Friend," and it's by Kelly McGonigal, and you can watch the whole thing. But she does talk about how it actually helps you. You rethink your stress response as being helpful. Physical stress response will change, and stress actually makes you more social. Okay? So we don't always have to think about stress as being negative. Olympic athletes actually harness this skill and use it to the max. They kind of think of the stress that they're going to have right before they go out to do an event as something that's going to push them to be better, to do their best and everything. And that's what they use to go out there. Okay. So if you feel like the stress is becoming overwhelming and it's just too much for you to handle, ask for help if you are struggling. Okay? Call a friend, family member, good to talk, or make an appointment with Counseling and Accessibility Services office. There is absolutely no shame in asking for help, as it takes a strong person to recognize that they need help. And I always say that and believe in that. It really does take a lot of strength to ask for help. Okay? So how to reach us? Seneca Counseling and Accessibility Services office. We do personal counseling as well at all 4 of our campuses. Right now, because we're all online, it is one campus, so you can actually email Seneca CNAS at senecacollege.ca to ask for an appointment to speak with a counselor, and they will find you the next available counselor. Okay. And any after hours contacts, we work from 9 to 5. We have Good to Talk, there's our phone number, Mental Health Helpline, Toronto Distress Center. You can actually text them as well. We have the York Region Community Crisis Response, call or text, Durham Mental Health Services, and Peel Spectra Helpline. So this all depends on where you live, right? In the Toronto region, York region, Durham region, or Peel region. Or you can visit your nearest hospital emergency room. And oftentimes we try so hard to do well in school that we leave our mental and physical health behind, but no more, right? I want you to think about prioritizing your mental and your physical health. Like that is really important. It's also a part of something that you have to do for school, right? So as much as you have your assignments due, you have your tests and you have your exams, but you also need to leave in time to manage your mental and your physical health. And how you do that will depend on what, you know, your interests are and what you have access to and what you want to use. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing now. There we go. Do we have any questions or comments or anything?
Does anyone have any comments or any questions? This is a wonderful time to ask. I know I was taking notes. I have some homework to do. I'm super interested in reading and seeing that TED Talk actually, because I feel like I have a lot of stress in my life, but I feel like it's self-induced stress. So I feel like I would like to figure out how to turn that stress around. Exactly like I just read and I saw in that video, and how to have that stress make me do better with my life and be healthy, have healthy stress. So that was really interesting to see that actually. So I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I really like her perspective about that.
Yeah, so I took notes, and then some of those other tools were really helpful. So I hope everyone was taking notes or took screenshots. I am a huge fan of sticky notes. I have sticky notes everywhere, but I feel like there's a much better ways to stay organized. And so some of those planners or ideas to help you stay organized with upcoming assignments and exams, I wish that was around when I was in school, because that's really helpful. If anyone does have any questions, feel free to ask either in the chat, or you can unmute yourself, or you can message directly to me or to Cindy, whatever you feel the most comfortable with. But we do have Cindy with us for a few more minutes, and she is clearly a wealth of information and has some fabulous resources. So if anyone has any questions, this is a really great time to ask. Because I think this is really important.
Okay. Oh, Rab said something in the chat. Is it important to be mindful if you're under stress? Yeah, that is very important to be mindful, because for everybody, the threshold of where you find your stress is too much, it varies with the person. So if you're finding that you're so stressed out to the point that, you know, you're not able to do anything that you would normally do, you're not able to sort out what's going on for you, your you know, emotions are out of whack, and your appetite is out of whack, and you're not sleeping properly, those are things to be very mindful of, and to contact somebody to talk to them about that if you're feeling that stressed and overwhelmed. It's always important to gauge where you're at. And I can also send you the presentation that I did as a PDF. That way, in case you want to have the links to any of the assignment calendars or the calculators, you know, those stuff that I had posted up as well.
That'd be great. Those are really great resources for sure. And I think as a reminder is, if you are under a lot of stress, to know that you're not alone, right? There's so much help that's out there, whether it's through Seneca or outside. I know Cindy put up all the list of some after hours clinics. There's a lot of help out there. So there is help available if you need it. And it was a very good point about showing your strength by asking for help. Any other questions that anyone wants to ask, either in the group chat or anonymously is fine too, just to me or to Cindy personally is fine. There's a big thank you for you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That was a great presentation. I really enjoyed it. I hope everyone got something out of it. And I think that during these times, there's the wind, you can see it coming. During these times especially, there's a lot of additional stress that people have, different stresses. Everyone's thinking about health and family and all sorts of things at this time. So to take that stress and how to use it to make it a healthy stress is really important. But when you're thinking about school and all the work you have, there's some really great tools to help keep everyone organized and on track. And I think that's really something to be mindful of. So I'd like to take this time to thank Cindy so much for her time in putting together that presentation. That was my first time using Menti. I thought it was awesome. And I'm going to look more into that, because I think that was really, I like that interactive part of that. That was really, I really enjoyed that. Hope everyone else did as well. So appreciate everyone giving their time this afternoon. Like I said, I'm going to put this up on our website as well. And then as well, if Cindy wants to send me the link, if anyone has questions, you have my email, because I had emailed you at the links for the Zoom call. So feel free to email if you have any questions. And thank you very much, Cindy, for your time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Okay. Take care, everybody.
Bye.